Happy Wednesday morning to you, Cross Point. It's Tuesday late afternoon right now, and the sunshine feels incredible. It's mid-60s. I'm outside, and I'm actually enjoying it. And I hope that you are having a good time and a great day, a great beginning of the day, wherever you're at, resting and trusting in Jesus and living content in Him. So, just a couple of things to run by you. This coming Sunday, of course, we're back in Mark, so kind of excited about that and working our way through Mark's Gospel. This coming Sunday, we will be looking at Jesus' blessing on the children, and I really want to have some fun with that and pressing it. I think that speaks to some of the vision items that we've been talking about, but going to deal with that. And then the following Sunday, just give you a little heads up on the rhythms that are in front of us. The following Sunday is going to be a youth takeover, and Zach talked about that in the annual meeting when he gave his vision address. It's called a youth takeover. I'm wondering if it's going to be a hostile takeover. So we'll see how that goes. Pretty much for that day, going to give them the keys and see what happens. But they're going to do the service, the youth are. At least last I checked. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So I want to encourage them and get behind them. And so then the following Sunday, Bruce is going to preach. And we haven't heard from him in a while, but looking forward to that. So anyway, that's kind of a lineup for the next 3 Sundays. But want to talk to you guys a little bit today about Proverbs 17:22, an area that I have grown in as the years have gone by. But I know in the King James it says laughter does good like a medicine. I think other translations might say a cheerful heart is like good medicine, and a crushed spirit dries up the bones. So in the spirit of some comedy, I want to read to you a selection from a book that I'm reading here. Who Moved My Pulpit? So someone gave me that book on Sunday. It's actually pretty good, and it's the pastor, just to give you a little blurb. Actually, I would encourage you all, if you want to have a good fun read, grab that book. It's about change and leading through change and just some of the growing pains. I ordered some copies for our elders. We're going to be reading through it, but the author, Tom Rayner, he's a really sharp guy. But anyway, the pastor had moved his pulpit on one Sunday, and that was a bad move because apparently the pulpit had been in place for many, many years, and so he didn't realize what he was doing. So he moved it, and there were whisperings and murmurings and just kind of like, hey, the pulpit had been there for some people all their lives. And so the next Sunday, the pastor comes back and his pulpit was back. And so he's the one who said, who moved my pulpit? So just kind of underscore some of the interesting things that a church family can undergo. But here's a list in this book of some things that churches have disagreed on, okay? So I'm gonna read this, okay? Here we go. Number 1, argument over the appropriate length of a worship pastor's beard. I'd love to sat in on that one. Fight over whether or not to build a children's playground or to use the land for a cemetery. So I can imagine that one, right? The kids we have now, or the elderly that, are passing away. Which way do we invest? Number 3, a deacon accusing another deacon of sending an anonymous letter and deciding to settle the matter in the parking lot. Number 4, a church dispute of whether or not to install restroom stall dividers in the women's restroom. I don't think I'd want to be part of that discussion. I'd say the ladies can settle that themselves. Number 5, a church argument and vote to decide if a clock in the worship center should be removed. A church argument and a vote. Sounds like a Baptist church to me. Churches that vote over this kind of stuff are often Baptist churches because they're real big on congregational rule and meetings. Number 6, a 45-minute heated argument over the type of filing cabinet to purchase, black or brown, 2, 3, or 4 drawers. 45-minute heated argument. Interesting. I imagine the secretary was in the middle of it. Number 7, a fight over which picture of Jesus to put in the foyer. Number 8, a petition to have all church staff clean shaven. That's enough of the scruffy beards. Number 9, a dispute over whether the worship leader should have his shoes on during the service. Hey, I for one think you need to have your shoes on. Like, I'm serious. I don't know that I'm willing to go all the way on that one. Number 10, a big church argument over the discovery that the church budget was off 10 cents. Someone finally gave a dime to settle the issue. Shoot. Number 11, a dispute in the church over the Lord's Supper. Oh, because the Lord's Supper had cranberry juice instead of grape juice. I'm sure there were some surprised people been having grape juice their entire lives, and what is this cranberry juice? Number 12, business meeting arguments about whether the church should purchase a weed eater or not. It took 2 business meetings to resolve it. I'm going to go 99% chance that's a Southern Baptist church. No harm, no foul to the Southern Baptist, but I was one for a number of years. Number 13, arguments over what type of green beans the church serve. I wonder why. Number 14, 2 different churches reported fights over the types of coffee they served. In one of the churches, they moved from Folgers to a stronger Starbucks brand. In the other church, they simply moved to a stronger blend. Members left the church in the latter example. So people left the church because the coffee went to a stronger blend. Number 15, major conflict when the youth borrowed a crock pot that had not been used for years. I'll bet the youth did not ask permission and go through the proper channels. I bet that was the issue. So anyway, hopefully just a little bit of levity for us today. We have to learn how to laugh. I'll be honest, there was a period in my life, probably late teens, early 20s. I don't know that I smiled for like 5 years. And if you'd asked me about it, I bet, what's there to smile about? Looking back, I was going through just turmoil and transition and stuff, but I have to say to my younger self, learn how to laugh and let go. But that's Proverbs 17:22. Laughter does good like a medicine, but a dried up spirit or a crushed spirit dries up the bones. So I'll tell you one story that happened when I was 19. I was part of a local church. And I'm looking back on it now, I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened. So I was part of this local church while I was going to college, and the church had decided to sell the property and the building. They were smaller and they just couldn't pay the bills. So it was like either, just sell it and relocate to a smaller venue, or I don't know, go into debt, which they were unwilling to do. So they decided to sell the building. The previous pastor shows up during the business meeting and I guess feigned support. I'm not quite sure how he got up there, but somehow got permission to address the congregation. Now, this guy's not even pastor anymore. He gets up and he welcomes everyone, says, so I'm glad, excited what all is going on. And by the way, you guys shouldn't sell the building. This is a terrible mistake. And he went on for like a minute. And one of the deacons stood up and shouted, was like, no, get out. And then finally the pastor got up and was like, okay, thanks for your comments. It's time for you to sit down. Anyway, the church family, that is us. And let's love one another, and let's learn how to also laugh and enjoy just the life and the journey of living in a local church family. I think it's great. I think it's exciting. We get to see and experience things that most people don't who aren't in part of a church family. So anyway, love you, Cross Point. Looking forward to seeing you this Sunday. We'll be in Mark chapter 10, looking at Jesus' blessing of the children. Let me bless you with the Aaronic blessing. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen. See you Sunday. Bye.